Hey, my name is Yolanda, and welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. Tune in each week as I speak frankly about life experiences from my perspective and offer you a bit of unsolicited advice. Let's take a little time to laugh, to think, and to cry as we tackle some serious topics and some not so serious topics. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Hey, welcome to Frank Factualities, the podcast. My name is Yolanda. Thank you for tuning into my show for another week and joining me for another episode. I know it's weird. My show usually airs on Thursday. It is, what's today? Today is Friday. So I'm recording it a day after it's supposed to air so that it can go out on Saturday. And why am I late? Several reasons. I needed to catch up on work. This is the time of the year where I pull all-nighters to try to get my work done by certain deadlines. It's the norm, unfortunately, which it shouldn't be, but it is. And so I had planned to just work. And ideally, I don't ever sacrifice my personal time for work. But what made me say, you know what, go ahead. My father's in town, and my father lives in New Jersey. So he came down and he said that he was going to come over. So because he was coming over, and the same night that I was supposed to record and do work, I had to forego both. So I didn't get a chance to do any work, but it was fine. I only see my father sometimes once a year, and sometimes not even once a year. He may skip a year or so. So I don't see him that often. It was definitely worth the sacrifice. His wife, my stepmom, came over. The entire family just kind of sat and talked and caught up pretty much. So it's Saturday. Thank you guys. I'll be back to my regular scheduled program next week. I may have to try to incorporate some different days. Not for my airing. Airing will always be on Thursday, but maybe for when I record, because in the beginning of the school year for me, it gets a little hectic, and sometimes I come home late and it makes it a little difficult to record, but that's on me to be prepared, and I haven't been being prepared. So that doesn't have anything to do with you all. And because I'm also recording on a Friday, the streets are hot, meaning there's a lot going on outside. If you hear a lot of noise, a lot of music or cars, that's just because it's a Friday evening. Normally it's quiet on a Wednesday night. People got work the next day, but Friday, people outside. So it is what it is. And I don't got no street talk, okay? Because I don't have no street talk. I have not been in the streets. I don't know what's going on in the streets. I have been in the house and school shopping. You know what? Let's talk about that real quick. That is my street talk for the day. My son is 16. So being a 16-year-old, what's happening? He's always outside trying to find the latest thing, trying to figure out if he can outdo the next outfit he just had on and everybody else. Because of that, we always online looking for stuff, but the problem is there's nothing there. And when you do find it, it is taking forever to ship. I don't know if I've seen these long of ship times in forever. So things that would normally come even from Amazon, like in a day or two, is coming the 4 or 5 days later, or it doesn't come at all. I've had to cancel an order because it didn't come in time. And they're like, okay, if you don't get it by this day, just let us know and we'll refund you. So I never got the package. I had to cancel it and get a refund. I don't know what's going on. I ordered something for my son the other night. He's like, oh, when is it coming? I know he assumed that I was going to say like, oh, it'll be here this weekend. No, the thing is not coming until next week, Thursday. Most of his items, I ordered a pair of shoes for him 2 weeks ago. It just came. It's just slow. So I just don't know. It's not going well. I said all that to say school shopping is not going well. And you kind of have to shop online because there's nothing in the stores. I mean, nothing. And then the things that are in the store. So it's the same thing that's online. But if somebody got to be cheaper. Either I got to buy it cheaper online, or I got to get it cheaper in the store. Because at the end of the day, well, I guess it would be cheaper in the store because you're not paying for shipping. But if I see it at $160 online, I don't want to pay $160 in the store. Give it to me for like $140 or something. Make me feel like I'm doing something with my life because I got outside. But no, it was the exact same price of things that I saw online. I'm like, oh, I saw this shirt. It's just not fun. I've never been a shopper. I'm not that girl. You know, I tell you guys this every so often. I'm not a girly girl. I don't like shopping. I don't like purses. I don't like getting my nails done. I do like to get my toes done just because it just makes sure. I like to wear my feet out a lot. I like flip-flops and flats and slides and stuff like that. I don't really like to wear shoes in the summertime. But other than that, I don't really like a lot of like girly things, and so I don't really get excited about those things. So shopping is one of them. Not to say that I don't like to get new things, but going in the store and looking, oh, I can't do it. Yeah, so doing that with my son, and he likes to do it with me. It's our little bonding time because he likes my little style when it comes to him sometimes. So he likes my input. So I go, and my granddaughter is with us, and she's been going to the store, and she's even more difficult than him. And I would think that it would be easier for a girl. At least it was back in my daughter's day. But now, no, it's not. My granddaughter is very picky. She's about my daughter's size when she was that age, so it's really easy to buy stuff because she's like a 000. There is always in the store. They never out of that size, so you can find what you want. The problem is she's into very, very trendy things, and I want to get her more on a classic side because those trends are going to run out, and then you're looking to buy those clothes again next year when you could still just have those pair of jeans, but technically not because the kids grow so fast. My son's thankfully out of that. When I say that, I mean like this year, I didn't really have to buy shoes because he didn't outgrow the ones from last year. This is probably the first time that it's happened. Every year, usually twice a year, when I buy shoes for school, by the time Christmas comes, he's grown out of them and I have to get more shoes. And then, of course, by the next school year, the same cycle. But this year, I'm good. Although we bought a pair of shoes that said they were an 11.5, but he said that they were really big. So I know that different shoes are cut different, but because we got to get crease protectors for these, I think that the ones that we bought will make the shoe fit a little tighter around the toe area, and it probably won't flop. We'll see how it looks otherwise. I don't know. Anyway, I've spent almost 10 minutes talking about nothing, so let's go on. Now, when my father was here, let me share some things with you that really got me feeling a ways, and I've been feeling a ways for a while, so I don't really know how to process these feelings. And I want to say that I want to go to and call my therapist to kind of have a session, but for the first time in my life, I don't know what to say the problem is because it really isn't a problem. I don't know. I want to blame it on perimenopause because that's what I blame everything on at my age right now. But lately, I have not been finding joy or happiness or pleasure. And when I say pleasure, don't get your freaky deaky mind. I just mean like nothing gets me excited anymore. I'm not excited about anything. If I am, it's for a second. I mean, a brief second, and then it's back to like blah. I've been feeling really blah. I'm not motivated at all to do anything. I don't have drive, ambition. I just ain't got the hustle in me anymore. And I don't want to feel that way. I don't want to feel defeated, and I don't have anything to feel defeated about. That's the thing. It's not like things aren't going good in my life. I'm doing well, very well. Like there's nothing to complain about. I don't have anything to say, okay, this isn't going well. I don't know if this is going to pull through. None of that is going on, guys, but I have just been feeling like blah. Like woe is me. And to me, my depression looks like pushing through. It looks like just working, just holding your head up, just kind of going through it, ignoring the feelings and just moving. I've also been experiencing pain in my arm, down by the elbow, just kind of like nerve pains. I've been having to pop pills, just not feeling like myself. And it's really annoying, especially since this all happened with me going back to work. I've been at work for a week now, and I don't want to feel like this. Out of the 4 days I've been at work, I had to pop pills 2 of those days while I was at work. And now I'm trying to buy orthopedics type stuff for me to use in my office so that I'm not sitting and feeling uncomfortable at the desk all day. And so my body and my mind is changing. I know I'm getting closer to 50, but I still don't think it's supposed to feel like this. Like physically, mentally, I just don't know if it's supposed to feel like this. So now that I've told you what mood and mindset I'm in, my dad brings up my mom and our woes and the things that we had going on. Or maybe he didn't bring it up. Maybe I did. I don't know. But we were talking about it. And my husband said, you tolerate your mom. You don't really like dealing with her, but you tolerate her. And for whatever reason, that hurt my feelings. I didn't want for I didn't want my relationship with my mom to be perceived that way. And to give you a little context, my mom has been dealing with some health issues with my stepfather. So she's been kind of calling my husband and I to kind of help assist her with getting him situated so that she can sometimes take him to the emergency room, pick him up, all that good stuff. Well, not good stuff, but all that kind of stuff. So I've been sending my husband a lot because my stepfather's a big guy and I can't really navigate through that. And he's been dealing with prostate and issues like that with his father. So he just knows a little bit more and is more aware of that kind of stuff with the catheter and all this other things. So anyway, moving on. When he said that, I was just like, oh, that doesn't really sound good. But I'm also not the person that doesn't self-reflect to say, well, I like to hear how other people perceive me because in my head, that is the reality. That's the reality of how everybody sees me. So if you have observed a thing or observed my behavior in a situation and you tell me that you feel like I'm behaving this way or it came across this way, that just is what it is. I know that that's not my intention, but I am aware that I do feel a certain type of way around certain issues with my mom, and I don't know how other people perceive it. And so him telling me that now made me aware that I tolerate her, and I don't necessarily, and I'm sad about that, but I don't know how to process what I feel like when, say, for example, she asked me to do something. And I'm actually processing this out loud with you all. I feel like you've wronged me and now you need me. So why do I have to do this? And I do it. So now I guess that's why it's coming across like I'm tolerating it, because in my mind, I'm just like, you weren't there when I needed you. So I feel like I'm being forced to be there because otherwise I'd be an asshole if I wasn't doing it. So yes, I do it. I will do it. I do. I'm not going to volunteer, and I never volunteer. I have to be asked and then I will. And I don't want to be like that. And I was telling my dad that I don't feel like I have daddy issues. I feel like I have mommy issues. And not that I don't love her, not that I, don't want, because I don't want her to feel like, oh my God, she hates me. I don't. But I also can't just erase my feelings. I've healed from them in that it doesn't bring me to tears. I acknowledge them. I know who I am now because of what I've been through. And I also know what may trigger me because of those feelings that I had back then and the things that I dealt with. However, I don't know how to, because my father was like, he doesn't hold grudges. And I don't either. To me, tolerating somebody says I don't hold grudges, and maybe I look at that the wrong way, but I feel like if I'm talking to you, I'm being around you, I'm cordial, I'm doing all these things, then I am not holding a grudge. Holding a grudge to me is I'm not ever talking to you again, and I don't do that. But I don't know if therapy or anything if I continue with it, because I've done it before, but if I continue with it, it will help those feelings disappear completely. And I don't think so. I think I'm just going to constantly be a work in progress. I'm going to constantly work on myself. But I feel like all of us are when it comes to like hurt feelings and trauma, we're our inner child. That always comes out. And you don't know how to sometimes emotionally process those feelings because they came about when you didn't know how to emotionally process them. So when they come back up, you revert back to that same childlike behavior and in the way that you manage them, which is, in my case, is just to shut down and almost not acknowledge that this thing is happening or you're going through it. So that is what I'm dealing with. And then I realized that, I didn't see my father a lot. I really didn't. And my granddaughter brought this to my attention. She just says, well, oh, they stayed for a long time. And I said, well, yeah, because, I don't see them that often. So when we around each other, we're catching up. And she says, well, you can call him Yaya. He'd send you messages and you don't respond. Now, mind you, he sends like YouTube clips. My dad sends like all this Hotep stuff sometimes and just videos from YouTube about like, oh, the world is going to come to the end and they're putting stuff in the food, like those type of videos. And he sends them to my husband, my other siblings. It's just what he does. Not to say I don't look at some of them, but I don't respond. I used to like thumbs up, but I felt like that was encouraging him to continue to send them. So I just like don't say anything. But anyway, I don't call him like I used to, but I mirror what I was taught. So like I wasn't raised in the church, so it's not a habit of mine to go to church on a Sunday. I would never kind of brought up talking to my dad on a daily basis. It was kind of a once or twice a year I would see him, and then the phone calls would be like during the major events, the holidays, birthdays, special occasion, graduating, moving on to the next grade, just stuff like that. So that's what I'm used to, and it's just not a normal thing for me. But I felt bad because she's right. I should reach out and talk to him even more. But I feel like I can accept things once I always could accept the truth. I was never hurt, bothered by the truth. If someone said to me, this is what it is, and never made it seem like it was something else, I can manage that because it is what it is. It's in your face. But when you think of a thing, or you were led to believe one thing and then somebody switches up on you, which is how I felt like what happened with my mom and I felt like we were good and fine. It was still rocky, but she's my parent. So that's what they do. They fuss. But things really shifted when she married the man that she's with currently, because she was married before then. But my relationship with my stepdad, who is my brother's father, was great. He raised me until I was 10. But when she married this guy around the time I was about 13, 14, things just wasn't the same. I just don't know how to shake it. It was just like, okay, things I could do, I couldn't do. And I'm not talking about, because I had a lot of freedom. So when I say things I couldn't do, I'm not talking about like leave the house, do all those things. I'm talking about like, you can't get this item out of the refrigerator. You can't cook yourself your own meal. He has to eat first. And I know that's a huge debate online. But not only does he have to eat first and I have to fix his food first, you only get to get this one piece of meat or 2 pieces of meat and this little bit, and that's it. You can't eat no more, even if you want a repeat, you want another piece of chicken. Like, it was just so many rules that didn't exist before. So it was just really weird, because I'm not at a age where this is my normal. I have been living a certain way up until I was about 13, 14. And all of a sudden, as a teenager, you want me to adapt to these new rules that I really felt like was unfair and unreasonable. And of course, I shared my thoughts with her about that, and that didn't go over well. So my dad said, well, how would you feel if I told you that I pretty much agreed with your mom? I guess saying that she had shared some of the things that were going on in the house, and that he felt as though they had to do what they had to do. I don't know what their conversation was. I do know that there are 2 sides to every story. And I was telling them like, hey, I respect my brother, and I have a really soft spot in my heart for him, because he knows my truth more than anybody knows, because he was in the house. And then my husband says, well, he was just a child. He wouldn't know, like he wasn't old enough to process what was going on. I said, but actually that's why I say he is the one that truly knows me. He wasn't old enough to process what may have been going on. So when he speaks the truth, because that's all he knows. He's going to say what actually happened, because of course he doesn't know. Well, she didn't work, and that was how she was able to provide for her kids, which was through this man. And so if he left, then she wouldn't have been able to take care of her kids. He wouldn't have been able to. We're 8 years apart. So he wouldn't have been able to process that. But what he does know is, every time this happened, this is what mom would say. Every time Londa said this is what happened. Every time Ma said this is what Londa did. So to me, he's the neutral person who can just be honest to say, this is what my experience was growing up. And don't nobody have no memory like my brother. I don't know why he just remembers everything, but he does. I mean, the most random of things, he just knows. And my memory is shot. So he has to remind me of a lot of things. I don't know, guys. I know that I need to go and probably let these things out. I don't want to feel in a state of stuck, because that's just not how I thrive. I thrive off of having goals and being able to work towards those goals, but I don't have any goals. And even though I do have goals and I've already set certain things, I have not been motivated to do them. My goal was to finish my book this summer. And although I'm that close, I just don't have the motivation to continue. And that saddens me, because I want to be able to go through with that, but I just don't have the motivation to do anything. So I don't really know how to shake it. And I know I'm not the only person, but there's no magic wand to just be like, okay, wake up. There isn't a person that can fix it. And I think that sharing how you feel and why people suffer in silence sometimes with depression or dealing with things in their life is because people feel like it's something that they didn't do or something that they did that's causing you to feel away. But this isn't something that my husband can help me with because he didn't do anything wrong. It's not anything that he's doing that's making me feel this way. There's nothing that my mom can say or do, to be honest with you, my kids. And even though I know they love me and my grandchild and all that stuff, it doesn't stop the way that I feel in the moment about me. And I don't feel a certain way about me per se, but just how I show up in a place. I just don't have it, and everything just is like, okay, it is what it is, whatever. It's not that serious. It's not that serious. And I just don't have any passion about anything, and I don't like it. I want to be passionate about something. I want to be excited about something. I want to be like, okay, this is what I'm working on, and to see the thing and be proud of the thing. Like, oh, wow, look what I did. And I'm usually really creative and energetic and always has this idea of like, okay, this is what I want to do this year, whether it's a personal or professional goal. These are the things that I want to set, and I want to see it through. And I'm very motivated, dedicated. I'm sorry. That was a little rant because our little ROTC team shouts that little chant. And every time I say motivated, it makes me think of that chant. But anyway, I am very motivated usually to just kind of see everything through. But I want to buy new things that set up my office, and, we get a new space there. But I thought that was going to make me excited, like shopping, to say, okay, this is going to be my new little color scheme. These are the little whatnots or whatever I'm going to get for my office. Man, no. I mean, I'm still going to buy them, but I can't say that I'm excited about it. And yeah, man. So we have to take care of ourselves. I need to take care of my shoulder and my arm and whatever it is bothering me, so that I don't have to pop ibuprofen every single or every other day, tearing up my liver. I need to work on my mind so that I'm not feeling in a state of stuck, so that something doesn't happen to where I lose myself. I want to be able to show up for my family and friends as I always have been showing up. And I don't want to be a different person. And I don't want to be perceived as someone that's nonchalant or doesn't care. And I know that I can be in a mood, and it's been more of a mood lately. My husband even asked today, "Your period coming on?" I'm like, really? But it's that kind of vibe. So imagine being for my ladies, if you're a woman listening to this, in this moody, I'm on my cycle vibe every day, and knowing that you're in this moody mood for no reason because your cycle isn't on, but so now you're having to mask this energy because you have it, and you don't want to offend people, and you don't want people to feel like, well, damn, why is she acting like that? But that everything they say and do annoys you, the way they move. Like, they can be excited about something and you're really not excited, and they want you to do things and be a part of something, and you don't want to talk to anybody, and you don't want to do anything, and you just don't want to be around people, but you don't have a choice but to be around people. You just want a little peace and quiet, but you ain't gonna get the peace and quiet. And that's where I'm at. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to be in peace and quiet. I don't want to go to work. That's how I feel. Obviously I'm doing these things, but if I had my way, I would just like lay on my back, prop something up on the back of my neck so it doesn't hurt anymore, and relax so I can feel like there's no pressure of the world, even though there isn't any. But I'm telling you, that's how I'm feeling. Like, for real, it's sickening. So frankly, the fact of the matter is, I can't work on my mind. I don't know how to fix my feelings. That's why we have to go to people. So I'm saying it out loud. I just hope that I'm motivated to make the appointment, and thank God that there is such a thing as telehealth, because I don't think if I had to physically make it somewhere, I would go. And like I said, I don't know what's wrong. So I don't know how to do that, because normally when you go to therapy, eventually, well, not even eventually, the start of the conversation is just like, what brings you here? Especially if they don't know you, they get to know you. They ask you a few questions that ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China. And then they want to know like what made you want to seek out therapy. But of course, if I go to someone that I've already talked to before, they're kind of familiar with the things that I've dealt with already in the past. So you could just kind of pick up, not really where you left off, but, catch up and then go into what you're feeling. So I think that's what I'm going to do, guys. I think that next time, it may not be by the time I talk to y'all, because I'm going to be talking back to y'all in the next couple of days because I'll be recording very soon just for the next week, Thursday. So I may not have seen a therapist by then, but in the next couple of weeks, I'll be telling you guys how my session went just so that I can talk out my feelings, man, or lack thereof, because I don't really feel nothing right now. And again, I don't like to feel that way. So I'm going to figure it out, you guys. And I'm encouraging you all. It ain't mental health month because, I always talk about that when it's that time. But it's always a time to make sure you take care of yourself. So take care of yourself, guys. And until next week, I'll holla. Bye.